What's up everyone, and welcome back to Nerd Doc. Moon Knight is really starting to pick up, and this video will be explaining episode 3 of the new Disney Plus series. There will be spoilers in this review and recap of the episode. If you do not wish to be spoiled, you can find some of our other Moon Knight coverage linked below, including who is Mark Spector and who is the Egyptian god Khonshu. If you're here looking for the song that plays over the Marvel Studios logo near the start of Moon Knight episode 3, it's Enta by DJ Kaboo. This is also the song that plays over the end credits of episode 3. You can find Spotify and YouTube links to this song in the description below, and if you have any questions about Moon Knight or any of the characters in the third episode, leave a comment and we'll try to answer them as best we can. The third episode of Moon Knight starts with Layla getting a fake Egyptian passport so she can head back to Egypt where she has some history. Not so great history. Arthur Harrow has found Amit's tomb and begun digging, while Mark Spector is busy hunting down information, trying to find the location of the tomb as well. Steven butts in while Mark is taking care of business, letting his marks go and trying to head to the airport and go back home. In the midst of the changing personalities, Mark and Steven both find themselves in the middle of a bloodbath and confused as to who killed the potential informants. This is actually the third personality in their body that's been hinted at very subtly throughout the last 2 episodes. While we don't know exactly who it is, in the comics, Jake Lockley was a third main personality in their body. That's more than likely who this is, but we'll have to wait a few more weeks to find out for sure. In the comics, Jake serves as a cab driver in order to get information at the street level. At least for the time being, this has likely been changed in the series. Similar to how Stephen Grant was a wealthy Manhattanite in the comics, but just works at a museum gift shop in the show. With no more leads as to where Arthur is digging, Khonshu causes a solar eclipse which draws the ire of the other Egyptian gods as they do not approve of such dramatic statements. Mark is called into the Great Pyramid of Giza, where the gods hold a meeting to hear Khonshu's case against Arthur Harrow. Before the meeting starts, Mark meets the avatar of Hathor, goddess of music and love, who had a romantic encounter with Khonshu in the distant past. Khonshu is accusing Arthur of trying to revive Amit, but without more concrete evidence, the gods do not believe him. They threaten Khonshu, warning him that any additional theatrics, such as causing a solar eclipse, will result in Khonshu being imprisoned in stone. Khonshu claims that the Egyptian gods have abandoned humanity. In reality, humanity has simply stopped believing in these gods, at least not anywhere near as faithfully as they did back in ancient times. This has caused the gods to retreat into other realms, allowing their avatars to carry out whatever needs they have in the human world. Khonshu is calling on the gods to return and stop Arthur and Amit so humanity can be saved. Arthur uses Mark's medical disorder to show that he is unwell, casting doubt on Khonshu's claims. Now, mentioning the scarab likely would have been enough to at least make the other gods pause for a moment, but then the series would be over after 3 episodes, so that never comes up. Instead, as the meeting is adjourned, Hathor's avatar tells Mark that in ancient times, one person was trusted with the location of Amit's tomb. If Mark can find the sarcophagus of that person, he will be able to locate the tomb of Amit. Hathor's avatar tells Mark that the sarcophagus was sold on the black market. Using that as a clue, while Mark is approaching black market agents in an effort to find the sarcophagus, Layla finds him and together they visit Anton Mogart, a wealthy collector who has the sarcophagus in his possession. He also has a history with Layla, likely related to Layla double-crossing Anton over something to do with his interest in ancient Egyptian artifacts. In the comics, Mogart is Midnight Man, a rival of Moon Knight. While we don't know what Marvel originally had in store for Mogart, the actor who plays him, Gaspard Ulliel, tragically died before Moon Knight was released. To figure out where Amit's tomb is located, Mark asks Steven for help. This is because while Mark is a mercenary, Steven has vast knowledge of ancient Egypt because he studies as one of the ways to help keep himself awake at night. Steven helps Mark figure out how to make a star chart out of the cloth covering the sarcophagus, but Anton's men stop him before he finishes. Arthur Harrow shows up, hints that Mark may have something he's hiding from Layla, and uses Amit's power to destroy the sarcophagus. As a little hint, what Mark is hiding from Layla has to do with her father's death. But more on that in another video. A fight breaks out between Moon Knight and Anton's men that ends with Moon Knight and Layla killing everyone, including Anton. At least that's what we're meant to believe. Since Anton only gets stabbed in the back with one of Moon Knight's weapons, he could easily still be alive, and potentially even show up as Midnight Man in a later episode. Layla is able to grab the cloth from what remains of the sarcophagus. Layla and Mark drive out into the desert where they're spotted by Arthur's men who end up following them. When they try to make something out of the cloth from the sarcophagus, Mark has to let Steven have the body so he can figure out the puzzle. Unfortunately, they can't figure out where the tomb is located because it's based on the location of the stars. With the Earth, the solar system, and the galaxy all moving over time, the night sky from ancient Egypt was vastly different than it is in modern times. Khonshu, with the help of Steven as Mr. Knight, using the power Khonshu grants him, changes the night sky back into what it was in ancient Egypt. The other gods had previously warned Khonshu not to make such significant gestures. This was considered the last straw, and the gods immediately imprisoned Khonshu in stone, causing Mark and Steven to lose their Moon Knight powers for the time being. Before being imprisoned, Khonshu tells Steven to have Mark free him, but we won't get to see that until later in the series. The episode ends with Arthur speaking to Khonshu's newly made stone prison, essentially taunting him about his imminent victory. With Khonshu out of the way, Moon Knight is out of the picture as well, which means there's now just a normal human, Mark and Steven, trying to stop him, which Arthur doesn't consider much of a threat. That wraps up this video. We'll have coverage of each episode of Moon Knight, as well as extensive coverage of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness coming soon. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves Marvel.